Experience, I should say, crossing the Charles Bridge in glorious isolation, closed for the runners. The city authorities do a wonderful job of welcoming the runners and the marathon in general. Taken some years, I understand, to negotiate this 8 a.m. start time for run check in the past. In the past, it starts at 9 a.m. Well, 8 a.m. today, that is a big adjustment, 1 hour earlier. And I'll be very, very pleased they've done that with the likely temperatures later on this morning and through the early afternoon. So, there they are. They're crossing the bridge, the river once again. They've only been running 9 minutes and they're crossing the river. They'll be crossing the river for the third time in a second. Now, how many? 12, 14. I reckon that sounds about right to me. It is a big pack. There's plenty of athletes out there who run 2:9, 2:10 to 11. They'll be hoping to hang on to this quick tempo for as long as possible and then maybe dialing in a more realistic pace. But one or two athletes out there looking to break 2:10 for the first time. Running, of course, the most accessible activity in the world. We're all born able to do it. You don't need the equipment, you don't need a racket or a cord or a facility. You don't need a ball. You don't need these special equipment apart from maybe a pair of shoes. And a pair of shoes. Speaking of shoes, of course, they've been very, very much in the news this last few days after that world record of Sebastian Sawe in London. 2-hour barrier broken once and for all in a legitimate race. By the way, London, talking about the popularity and the access of running, 59,830 finishes. That is a world record in itself. It was about 604 more than ran the New York Marathon last November. That in itself was a record. I'm feeling like that actually. The Paris Marathon the special temperature. Where it can go next? 100,000 views time. London Marathon, of course, was announced that next year, 2027, it will have races on the Saturday and the Sunday. 2 races over the 1 weekend. So quite possibly over 100,000 participants, but spread over 2 days. That's kind of cheating, isn't it? You're going to say how many in your marathon is only the 1 race. Separate races. Anyway, we're on the west bank of the Vltava now, and with 11 minutes on the clock, they are well into the 4th kilometre. One or two very slight undulations on this course. It's largely flat. It's a very quick course. There's not a breath of wind around the city, by the way, too. About an hour and a half ago, we got the bus from the hotel to the start-finish area. Nobody could see a leaf moving or a flag moving anywhere. It's very, very still. Best of the women, though. There's Julie the cable of Ida Valley, tiny figure tucked in behind David, the pacemaker. With a purple with a red headband. He hopes to be there for much of the race, but you can see Angela Tanuri there as well, the 33-year-old, fastest in the race with best of 2:17.57. She ran that when she won Amsterdam in October 2021, a few years ago now. So she's still in good form. She's got championship form as well. Sydney World Championship back in 2022 in Eugene, in the Pacific Northwest of the USA. She ran 22 there on a very hot day, so she's good in warm conditions. And the elite athletes, you would have noticed first name, the majority of their Christian names on their screens. Easy to identify with the way broadcast from top right picture, Charles Bridge, bottom centre picture, the top river spanning the street under the old town bridge tower. Look like Emperor Charles IV. Old town bridge tower. It will around 30 kilometres, 13.5 kilometres, go past the power tower, another magnificent structure. More of that later on, but there's a real theme to a lot of these great structures in the city, designed by Pela, who was the designer of the current Charles Bridge. For every one of these runners, their own little goals, maybe just get round, maybe 1 or 2 to break 3 hours. Most of them get round in 4 hours, maybe 5 hours. Many of them running for charity, of course, distance running, the mass participation side of the sport has been an extraordinary gift for tens of thousands of charities around the world over the last 30 or 40 years. The London Marathon has been the front runner, so to speak, if you'll forgive the pun, in that regard. Charity giving, running for charity, raising funds for friends, massive significance to them. There you can see the old town square, bottom right of the screen, you can see the athletes still pouring through. You can see there that yellow flag, this 4:15, I think that's a pacemaker for that group. They're on pace, by the way, 3 hours, 7 hours, spread out among the athletes back to appropriate points. You can go to the screen, river of humanity. Places through the square now. Of course, as always, when the league women are predicted to go around at about 290 to 27 when they track a little balance of male club runners, national standard runners. It's a men's pack. Now they are shifting, aren't they? That's a lovely picture. You get a really good idea here just how quickly they are covering the ground. Three pacemakers identically clad. Doing a fine job there of the rest of this group. About 15 strong, something like that. A big pack. Only 19 minutes on the clock in Italy. You can see picture of Kirchner in the middle of that pack as well. 38-year-old, but 205 in Barcelona last year. The late starter, to put it mildly. First international race at the age of 24. Still been around a long time. I was chatting to him a couple of days ago. He said he didn't realise his talent at school, even though he has an uncle, Gilbert Coach, who was a 210 marathon runner. And his talent was identified. I've got to some kind of elder age. That's too busy. Focused on his football club, Manchester United. And only discovered his talent. Congratulations. Early to mid 20s. Karina and Sylvia, you're out there somewhere. See that. Beautiful sight. It's almost like a cathedral, little castles, giving us massive giving down on the runners, sending them on their way. Very early stages. These athletes just crossed the Charles Bridge. They're about 2.5 kilometres, 40 kilometres, more or less, ahead of them. 40k, you want it in Old English, it's about 24 miles, 4.5 miles, something like that. Yeah, get those moments on your camera. Very, very special indeed. This race is going to get harder and harder to get into in the years to come because they have a race limit. They would would love to take 20, 30,000 in the Prague Marathon, but the streets of the old town are so narrow, they just cannot take those numbers. And I'm told resolutely by the organisers that they close entries, they fill up very, very quickly, they cannot take any more. And while they would love to take 50 to 20,000, they simply cannot. So you want to run Prague Marathon, and I'll tell you what you should want to run Prague Marathon. Get your entry very, very early. Check out the Run Check website and see when you can enter. Look at this is the back end of the race. These are the guys who are probably expecting to get round in about 7 hours. VIPs, of course, by the start and finish area. Wishing everybody well as they head off on their journey. The elite athletes now 21 minutes on the clock. They should be at about 7.5k here, or 6.3k for the women. Yeah, 7.3k for the men. And so just a reminder, if you've joined us in the last few minutes, they went through 5k in 14:51, so pretty much spot on that 2:58 per kilometre that's needed to get down towards 2:05. The course record 2 hours 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Drink stations along the course. Of course, these elite athletes have their own special drinks every 5 kilometres, about every 3 miles. Those drinks were handed in last night. Each of them hands in 8 bottles last night. They were refrigerated overnight and they put out along the course. The athletes choose their own mix of those special drinks bottles. Sometimes the mix is weaker at the early kilometres than it is in the latter kilometres. So you might have your bottles at drink stations 7 and 8. The stronger mix, but you're needing a little bit more sustenance. Drink stations out there as well, water stations for the masses galore. Extra water out the course today because the organisers know full well it is going to be particularly warm at the end of the day. We hope and pray that everybody gets around safely on what will be a warm Sunday in Central Europe. Back in the rest. Some athletes in years gone by at various marathons around the world have set themselves a challenge. They try to be last across the finish line. Last across the start line. And then they get sponsored by how many people they can pass. It's a nice idea. I would try it myself. You start right at the back, pass as many as you can, but every athlete can pass. It's set for a So the women at 6.9 kilometres, 24 minutes on the clock. International flags galore there, as you can see that's the picture to send these athletes on their way. 24 minutes on the clock. Smiles everywhere. A bit of nervousness, never a bad thing. So if you're not nervous for a competition, you shouldn't be there. You're in the wrong state of mind. You should be nervous. You should have adrenaline pumping through your veins. Now this is interesting. They're pushing on strongly here, and I can only see one pacemaker. Wow. N1. That is Gideon Kiprotich. Boaz is there as well. He had some travel problems getting to the city. Boaz Kikeme to the right there in that pink vest and a headband. 33-year-old Ken. It was a 2:07 performance, didn't they, when he was second in Hanover back in April 2024, a couple of years ago now. Actually made his debut at Prague back in 2019 when he was 11th in 2:11. It's now almost 5 minutes quicker than that. But this is a little worrying for the organisers. They're down to one pacemaker it would seem. 25 minutes on the clock. That is so soon for the other 2 pacemakers have dropped out. The men's race, well, it should be less of a challenge to have pacemakers for much of the journey. Under Kipruto Bano is the leading these women out 25 minutes on the clock for them. Angela Tanui moving really well there with that orange hair. Next to the gentleman in the orange first West on the 1st of February in Dubai. She flew from 225 to 218. The athlete for Ida Valiant to the right of picture. Maria on her bid. She got 218.43 back on the 1st of February in Dubai. The world's great marathon in Dubai. She improved her personal best by almost 7 minutes. That is almost hard to believe. How do those relay runners, if they go through a K nearly equivalent there, what about 26.40? 8K 26.40. That represents. They've slowed a little bit. They're on about 220 pace. They've slowed a little bit over the last 3 or 4 kilometres. Need to keep pushing it along, keeping it healthy, see if they get down towards 220 or quicker. And it's best back to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I make it 16 strong. Just one pacemaker in there. That is going to be a real concern for the organisers. That puts enormous pressure on Gideon Kiprop-Rotic. Right of picture. Berahanu, wonderful Seiko. There he is with the red headband. Berahanu on his big 26 release Europe was a 205 before, but that was when he was second in Dubai. Last year, January last year, he was seventh in Dubai this year. That could be 207. It's only his third marathon, mind you. He's just done those 2 Dubai marathons. Nothing else. He's relatively inexperienced. Super strong, isn't he? In third place then. Behind Bowers, I think my fingers in the early kilometres, perhaps the first half and further in the marathon. Not getting involved in racing. Don't make yourself busy. Just relax. Get towed along in the pack. Once you get into the second half, maybe it can cause us distance. You can start thinking about racing, but frankly, you just need operating as economically as possible, both mentally and physically, in the first half of the marathon. You shouldn't be working. If any of these athletes are working hard now, but they're in the wrong place. Less than half an hour on the clock, they've got well over an hour and a half to go. They should be very, very comfortable at the moment. As Eustace said, left in picture. Eustace got a lead the fastest man in the field. Hasn't he got really close to his chest? A few back markers, latecomers, late out of bed. The alarm didn't go off. I'll kick the alarm under the bed. Whatever their excuse is. Now easing through the old town square, along with this rather glorious little group clad in blue, pushing a couple of wheelchair entrants. Someone's enjoying breakfast by the looks of things. They will have a nice, steady stroll, jog, push around the city today. Their objective clearly is to get round. Competitive at all, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Well, stopping for a photo at the start line. Why not? It's a long way to go. They know it's going to be a long old day up there. This group will be out there probably for 6 to 7 hours. It's going to be very warm. Let's hope they all do the right things when it comes to rehydration. A marathon is a big challenge, despite what Yomif Kajelcha last week said. So the man who was second in the London Marathon last week, it was his debut, and he broke 2 hours, can you believe? The Ethiopian Yomif Kajelcha running 1:59.41. He was 11 seconds behind Sebastian Salwin. Kajelcha said afterwards, well, the marathon's a lot easier than the half marathon, because he's an established half marathon runner. Here we go, 10K for the men. Let me break up. 10K for the men then. 29:18. 29:18 for the men at 10K. And that is great. That is quick. Wow. That's around 2:04 pace. No wonder the other pacemakers had to drop back. I would have expected them to last a lot longer, but they are flying this front group. I hope they're not going too quick. 29:18 at 10K. If they were on schedule for 2:05.09, they'd have gone through 10K in 29:40. 20 seconds ahead of that. So their projected time actually is just sub 2:04. Super quick. Does make you wonder, doesn't it? If the times run in London last week will have adjusted the perception of quick running amongst a lot of the elite athletes. Maybe subconsciously, they now think they've got to get down to 2:03, 2:04. They've just done at the races. They will be a kilometre, 2 kilometres behind the best in the world. So they've got to push on and step into, try into unknown territory. Women, well, they are a little way back, but we should get coming to 10K shortly. Remember, they went to 5K very fast, 16:50. That was just outside 2:19 tempo. 8K 26:40. Should have been slowed a little bit. So let's get their 10K time if we can. The men are at 10.7. Women coming up towards 10K. They're moving now towards they're in the northeast part of the course with the river, the Vltava river to their right. This is the newest section of the city, the northeastern section, where there's a massive these new apartment blocks alongside the river that you can see. It is rather glorious. There's a riverside park I've been dropping the last couple of days, and it's really delightful. You've got the river on one side, there's apartment blocks on the other side, a few bars, dotted along the pathway. Anyway, you think women about to come up to 10K until we get that split. 9.9K, as you can see. The Charles Bridge cleared then from many thousands and thousands, hundreds on the bridge, and many more yet to get onto the Charles Bridge, even though it's only at the 2.5 kilometre point. 2.5 kilometres, pretty much the middle of the bridge. Vast numbers travelling from Australia, Japan, China, and every other corner of the planet to participate in this race. Absolutely cannot be disappointed. Weather like this, with the big crowds that Praga offers along the course, wonderful journey around the city. And we hope to get that women's 10K split. There it is, 33:11 for the women. It is Anna Mariam Saboka, Jipa, Jeff Kesho, but Anna Mariam, 33:11. That's a second, 18 seconds down already. That's a pretty big gap up to 10K, but 33:11. That's good. They've speeded up a little bit the last couple of kilometres. They are on schedule for almost exactly 2:20, 33:11. So they hold that tempo, keep it going. It is a small group. Not just 2 athletes here already. We're down to 2 in the women's race. And Tanui to the right of picture from Kenya. And Mulie Alemaria of Ethiopia with 28 points up to there. Behind the Asa Barno. And Alemaria, we know of these two as the athlete in the best form, fresh with that fabulous second place in Dubai, 2:18. 7-minute personal best. It's a non-trivial movement. Alemaria just the half marathon. It's 7 years. 2019 was the last half marathon. She's hitting marathon. 10.5K more than women, so they are passing for that northeastern section of the race. Passing under now. One of the footbridges across the river. That's this lead bench with Bowers Kip Kemoy in the headband there. That's a cooling headband. It's one of the signature companies. Now heading back down Barishka Street here. And then out just about 12 and a half kilometres. This is the road, and there pacemaker, enormous pressure on Gideon, kick drop, rotates. And actually, my little commentary cabin here, near the finish line, you can hear the roars outside as they pass through the square, just on the running line of the actual start. But this is the chasing back, and already these athletes have to face their moment of truth. They know they cannot go with that big tempo up in front. Remember, last split we got was 10k 29.18, and that is that's about 2:03.15 pace. So they are well on schedule for a very, very fast time. Now, the temperature climbing that we're expecting over the next hour is not too bad. Yeah, they might get to do something very, very special. The concern is that from sort of 9 o'clock through to 10 o'clock, the temperature does go up. Justus and Colin leaving us to the left there of this group back in about third place. Delightful young fella. As I said, a lot of time in the last few days. This is 10th marathon. 13k there they've got through. What about 38.04? 13k, 38.04. Wow, it is. Goodness me, it is. Yeah, it's still about 2:03.30 pace. If anything, they have speeded up this last couple of kilometres. This elite group. That's why it's with them down such a small pack, because they are flying. Bowers kept Kemais at 2:07 before. He wears that one time to wake him up. Here they go then, under the powder tower, the arch of the powder tower. Look at that, it is a quite astonishing structure. It's actually never been used to store gunpowder, but it's called the powder tower. It's one of the original city gates. It used to separate the old town from the new town, so they've effectively now just left the old town. They're out in what is known as the new town now. It's a Gothic tower in construction. I think they have a good view of it. That's a shame. It is utterly magnificent. The original 13 city gates. Top chest. Deja Zima. 2:23 athletes did that in Kozice back in 2024. Down to 2:20s today, I suspect. One of the Czech elite, as I said, the Czech distance running is struggling to keep up to the standards set by so much of the rest of the world, including other European nations. Matej Zima to be the leading Czech. I think that's why we're focusing upon it. What a lonely journey. He's got no pacemaker for him. Nobody to help him along. Quintet of races behind that pacer. So I said Gideon, keeper of Voltage. Abdi in there as well. That's Abdi Fupa Nigasa in the black in the middle of the pack. Tall figure, the 30-year-old. His first race this year. Last year he was 5th in Mumbai in 2:12. He was 5th in Dalian in China in 2:12. But he is a 2:05 performer. So he will be feeling okay at this tempo. That's perfectly realistic. Women now we're down to 1. Wow. Hasn't she eased away quickly? Little Mulie. Dekebo Haile Mariam, the 28-year-old Ethiopian, is on her own. She's got a pacemaker. She has got a little group of men around her. And it does seem at the moment as though Angela Jemasunde Tanui, something just behind that group, might be struggling at this tempo. But we know it's quick. It's around 2:20 pace. And Tanui ran 2:17 back in 2021. Might be at least contacting that group. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be very, very tough for her. And I sort of feel they're not operating an even playing field, because Marie now has got a pacemaker. And you can see with the orange hair there, just in the back of the top right of your picture, Angela Tanui has not got a pacemaker. She's on her own. And this is going to be very, very tough. 41 minutes on the clock. She has got about an hour and 45 minutes of running to come. she is on her limit. She's got to run smart. She's got to think on her feet. Because it is indeed Ulie. They came up Alemania, who is at the front of the women's race. And very early on, we've got separation in this women's race. 42 minutes on the clock. She comes through the old town square. That little group of male colleagues. She heads out down there, that narrow street where I think 10 or 15 minutes ago, the tail enders of the race were coming through. That was where they were all queued up. They were met at 14.5 kilometers. So they're heading back towards the river now, heading in a westerly direction. That's one of the grand guests of the city. Come back to this point, they will take a left at the Leggy Bridge. But they won't cross the river, they'll sort of kiss the river so they can take a sharp left and head south, down towards the dancing house on the Jasper Bridge. There in the background you can see Angela doing really difficult moment this for her. Here she comes through all on her own in second place with a very, very long way to go. She's run sub 220 twice. Her personal best in Amsterdam back in 2021 and then she was fourth in Tokyo in 2022 at 218. And then later in 2022, as I said, she was sixth at the World Championships and swelled through divisions hugely. And she has finished the top three in most of her marathons. She's fabulously consistent. Today's going to be a tough one for her. Got through 13 kilometers. This is the third placer. And that's Visaline, that's Visaline Jen Kesher. She's in third place. Not so far behind Angela Tanui. I wonder if Tanui will ease off. This pacemaker now is pushing on hard in the men's race. Gideon Kiprop Rontic. She's doing a good job, but he doesn't want to get separation from that pack at the moment. The men, well, they're at 15 points here. They've got through 15k actually. We get a split of 15k for this men's pack. And in fact, they haven't taken a right yet. Now they cross the bridge. They've just passed the dancing house. That's back behind them. I don't know if we saw that. That's looking northwards along the Vltava. What a view. Here we spin round. There you can see, centre right of picture, that angle building. Quite bizarre structure. It's known as the dancing house. You can see why. It's like dancing house. Anyway, they're crossing the Jasper Bridge now. They'll take a left, a little bit of a dog leg, briefly stay on the western bank, and then take a left again across the river again. Quite a lot of corners on this course. No problem with that. I mean, the Chicago course is about 40 and 41 corners, and they've had world records galore there over the years. Chicago Marathon course. The corners on their own don't necessarily cause a problem. These athletes now negotiate to the left, right and left. 15k, there we are, 43.46. 15k, 43.46. Bupa, Nagasa is only a couple of seconds down. They are shooting. He's done a great job to drag them through to this point. But 43.46 at 15k. Well, it's about 204 tempo. Pretty much spot on 204 tempo. And the course record, remember, 205.09. That's important. Get those drinks in. Sponges over your head, ideally. Plenty of liquid. Yeah, you can see it. Justus Kipkone Lima taking drinks on board there. Dispatched with his bottle very quickly. Yes, he knows how much he needs to drink. It's something they do practice in training, these elite athletes. They take a sharp left there as they head back now over the river at 16k. The men. Here is Maria Haidemalia once again. And you can see Angela Tanui in the background there. Now, she hasn't lost much ground. If only she could make up that 20-25 meters, get back on terms there. It would be easier to run with this little group. It would be running on your own. That psychological link between her and this lead group is just been stretched to breaking point. And you can see Malia just struggling with that little curve running down the centre of the street and keeps traffic away from the tram lines. Of course, Prague, as I see, the tram relies upon its trams for getting around buses as well, but the tram system is quite fabulous, very cheap too. You're charged, by the way, on the trams in the city by the amount of time you're on the tram, not which stops you stop at, but the amount of time you actually are on the tram. Now, back to the women's field. Michaela, amongst the best of Michaela Brandnichkova. I'll check it. She's a 250 performer. She's probably maybe the leading Czech woman. She's a 250 performer. She produced that in Malaga last year down in Spain. Of course, Spain these days it's so many fast times, whether it's Seville or Barcelona or various other cities, Valencia, Castellón, Vltava, Manilova. I think it's second place amongst the Czech women. Making a debut, by the way, Manilova. Very in there amongst a lot of good national standard runners. That route, even though the leading women are about 2 kilometers further up the road from them. So 16.5 kilometers there, this is where the athletes meet the river and have to take another turn. Maria, keeping focus here, staying with that pacemaker. But actually, Angela Tanui has worked hard and she's closing up on Maria de Cabo Maria. What a great job she's done. She's worked very, very hard this last few minutes to try and close on the Ethiopian. Maybe challenge for top honours. Pacemaker there, Andrew Plano, doing a very, very good job of towing these women along. They're coming towards 15k, and this is an important split. To be on around 220 pace at 15k. They need to go around 50 minutes. Almost exactly 50 minutes. There we go. The women at 49.9k. Looks like that's what they're going to do. Bulie, that's a strange jump. Actually punches hard with her arms across her chest, doesn't she? There we are. 15k. 49.58. Almost spot on, which was 49.57 on screen. Well, that's really good pacemaking. Yeah. On check, almost exactly 220. They might have slipped a little bit outside the course record schedule. And we'll get that official split. So, we have a race on again. No runaway leader, as we thought we were going to get. It's Bulie Maria of Ethiopia, the 28-year-old, up against 33-year-old Angela Tanui. They're back together with 50 minutes on the clock on pretty much exactly 220 pace. At 15k. Now this is a really testing period this for Angela Tanui because she's worked hard there to get back on terms with Maria. Now she needs to drop back again. She needs to jump right into that group and try and take a big breath. Stay with them. Spins back. As I said, moving at sub 204 speed. Certainly course record tempo. 15k has gone for the women. The men was 15k 43.46, so they're up to nearly 18k now. And still, Gideon Kipkow-Rotich doing a fabulous job here. Boaz Kipkemai in the pink vest, that's a cooling headband, looking very comfortable. He's the one who's paying most attention to the leader. Boaz Kipkemai, Justus D1. He's looking strong too. Found him a couple of days ago. He's in a white vest. Hope there was him in the bus at the airport a couple of days ago. Good old champion, looks like brother. 22nd marathon now. His best is 2:11, so he is. Well, you can see him close to it because he's going to run a massive personal best. Yeah, right, so he's got that red head back in this group. I always keep him on. Very much well, very calm too. The 7th marathon. He's had a couple of wins, a couple of second places. He's a good, consistent racer. Flowers keep him on in the big vest. He's a late developer. His first race was Nairobi half back in 2023. He was 30 years old. He was a very late developer. So 18 kilometers then for the men. Just looking at leading women, I think, yes, that's the leading women. Crossing a bridge around 16.1 kilometers. They're on the Relógio Bridge. Take a right, they get over the bridge here. They are back together. Angela Tanui is back with Maria Maria. There they take that right hand turn, heading south now. They're at about 16.3k. Along the back of the river, a few hundred meters, take a left and head up towards the fortified medieval castle known as Vltava on the hill, which is quite glorious. It's an older castle with massive fortifications. Lovely serene parkland now within those fortifications. The Basilica of St. Peter and St. Paul is there. You can see the water in the shade. Very welcome shade, I'm sure, because the temperature now here in Prague has climbed a little bit. Temperature in Prague is 16 degrees now. It was 13 when they started nearly an hour ago. So the temperature's definitely climbed. This amongst the favourites in the Czech competition. 2:15 before. That was in Valencia 2020, so 6 years ago now. 19 kilometres for the men has come and gone. So they've negotiated a little loop down towards the southeastern corner of the course. So they are left now. Vltava medieval castle days of old. Slight rise. Alongside the Vltava. Good old position in the old days. Plus 2:23. Check here, roughly. Slight climb away from the river. So the railway line. Side of the road, you can see the leaders going by. There we go, look. The other side of the road, back on this side of the road now. With the lead back. It's doing a fabulous job. Coming up towards 20k, it's looking at this away to be on course record schedule at 20k. He's got 59.19, so I think there's still about a minute inside that, which would be superb for them. The question is how much further beyond the halfway can Gideon Kipchoge take these athletes, because he's really helping them enormously here. He's doing all the work. When you're tucked in behind a pacemaker like that, psychologically, you can relax. You trust the pacemaker. You just focus on the back of his vest. You get dragged along. You don't really think about having to make any effort to the tempo yourself. You just concentrate on trying to relax, shrug your shoulders, deep breaths, keep it nice and calm. Hold that tempo. Easier said than done, of course. But there they take the left just before halfway, just back along the banks of the Vltava now. And there, top left of your screen, you can see the Visharad Castle. There's a big cemetery in there, by the way. The Basilica of St. Peter and St. Paul. You can see there with the two towers. And the Visharad Cemetery, where many, many famous Czechs are buried. Where big old name. He wants to be buried, I think. Great fortifications around the Visharad Castle too. Davide Karajishvili of Georgia. Yeah, he's doing the hard work. He's a 2:11 performer, did that in Valencia 3 years ago, Davide. He's pulling this little pack along. Don't know the tempo they're moving at the moment. Trying to break those behind my feet. Get that isolation. And some athletes prefer running slower. They prefer to be running on their own and focusing on their own perceived effort rather than having sort of interference from other runners around them. You start keying off those runners. 18k there with 59.28 on the clock. 18k, 59.28 we'll call it. And that makes it on schedule for about 2:15, something like that, I think. Meeting Karajishvili of Georgia.
Salve, salve pessoal, bom dia. Fabrício do canal Corre Fabrício. Essa é a retransmissão da maratona da República Tcheca, né? De Praga. Qualquer coisa, se vocês puderem aí, deixar o like de vocês, se inscrever no canal, a gente agradece, né? Muito obrigado, bora continuar assistindo aí.
White vest is Emmanuel okay. He has no right to be there. He's a 2:11 athlete. Everybody was fourth into it back in 2014. That's an incredible run for him. Emmanuel started running at primary school in Diva. Says I was chatting to him, I said, what do you do to relax? He said, I watch other races. And what? Other races live? And he goes, no, take to races from years gone by. I said, I just love watching races from years gone by. That's what he's trying to do. 61 minutes on the clock. What was that 20k split? I don't think it's come through. 20k split for the men has come and gone. And they're coming up towards halfway now in this men's race. Let's get this split now. This is important. Psychologically, very, very important. It'll tell them what they're on schedule for. It'll break up the pack there as they get their drinks at that drink station, the 20k drink station. And halfway, here they come. 21k there. They come through 21k at about 61.35. 20. There we are. There's the halfway point for the men. 61.48. I got it. Wow. I told you they were on 2:03 tempo. That is about 2:03.30 tempo. Brilliant running from these fellas. And now the work begins. You get to halfway, you should be feeling all right. If you're under pressure at halfway, you've overcooked it. In the white vest, Emmanuel and on making sure he's getting plenty of liquid into his system. But he's lost contact in so doing, and that could be difficult for him now. Interestingly, the blue guy, just keep Colin Lima, was just chatting, I think, to Boaz. Duala Chivalry. And he looked very, very relaxed and comfortable. 27-year-old, he looks the best of them. Didn't make his marathon debut until 2023. That was the debut in Rwanda. He was 7th in the Kigali Marathon in 220. So modest beginnings. Here back to the women's race though. That is Angela Tanui. Now she is on her own. Where is Maria Halamaria? Because she's got the pacemaker with her here. This is great. So it's gone on a pacemaker. What has happened to Halamaria? Where is Halamaria? Has she dropped back? Has she dropped out? Oh, we can use with that. So it's honestly half round 61.44. The official split full event. We can run for 61.44. Diego, Kim Coates, and chasing group. Yes, they're a minute down. They're 48 seconds back, so they're still on schedule for something like. So they're on about 62 and a half. So they're on 205. I mean, the chasing group are on course record schedule. This lead group, small though it is, are on schedule for something around 203.30. They are on schedule to go well under 204 at the moment in this Prague Marathon, the 31st edition of the Vodafone Prague Half Marathon, building brilliantly for the elite men and the elite women. And what a good job Rotic is doing as pacemaker. On his own now, for probably 10 or 12 kilometers, 22k at 64.25, give or take. A few seconds. 22k, 64.25. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's equated to, like I said, about 204 flats. Course record 205.09. So how long can this pack hold together? How long can Gideon Kipron Rotic do this job now? Well past halfway, doing a fabulous job. Two of the pacemakers dropped out very, very early, disappointingly early, but he has made up to it. A fantastic effort over this last 10 kilometers. So we're going to approaching 20k. The men at 22.5k. Blue skies. Not much shade on this course for these athletes. The temperature climbing all the time here in Prague, and it is building wonderfully. So here's the chasing pack. Vincent, Geneva, making their debut. There is the camera. Yarokel Mercurio, which is also making a debut. So two athletes, the shortest athlete back in the group, Mercurio is just 22, making a debut. She was fourth in the Prague Half last year at 69 minutes. She has run 66 for half marathon. Pacemaker Patrick Weber doing a great job this little chasing back. Then it was 23k. Almost 20k with bringing up 20k split. Quicker than ever before in Prague. I do love the fact that more and more marathons nowadays are using that split screen. It keeps you abreast of the situation in both races. Don't they look strong? Just look, boas look fabulous there. Bars can I? In that pink vest. Justus Lima looks calm as well. On the far side in the blue vest. The red headband. Duala Shifaro from Ethiopia. It's his first race this year. Last year he came fourth here in Prague. It's his 30th marathon. In fact, it's Bernardo. Bernardo, one of Sego it is. That red headband. He's 26-year-old, requested 205. That was in Dubai last year when he was second. He could be heading in for a big personal best as well. Won the All African Games 10,000 back in 2019. He's got good track walk. He's run 27 minutes exactly for 10,000 on the track. That was back in 2019. Only his third marathon. Yeah, they do that in Dubai in 2025 and 2026. Dubai. Back on the 1st of February this year, 207.13. And last year, that was first place 205. Dubai. So, all these athletes around territory, even Justus got a lead on the fastest man of the field. In the blue belt, second place in the world in blue belt. He is running about a minute quicker than he's ever moved out before. Let's have a look at him. So there's the chasing group. And Angela Tanui, who went through a bad patch about 25 minutes ago, seems to be on her own and in the lead. She has the pacemaker with her. And Ruto Bano of Kenya. She is the one now cleaning up the pacemaker out in front on her own. And Malia, you understand, is still running, but a little way back. Haven't seen her for quite a while. Must have had a really bad period. Drop back quite abruptly, quite suddenly. Look at that 21k coming to halfway now. 20k split for the women. Here come the women towards halfway. Let's see what we see them go through halfway. And at 24k, they are heading now northwards. River on their left, as you can see. That castle, there it is, top left of your screen. That's the Visharat Castle. There you go, castle. But it's high right alongside the river. Prague, very special. Bigger field than ever before, nearly 12,000 starters in the marathon. Fastest event back on the road. Let's see the women's half marathon time. Women's half marathon split. We just passed it normally. The time for the women at halfway will come up very shortly. This is the chasing pack of the women goes behind. Angela Tanui. Janet Kijumbi, there she is, the right of picture. She's a 2:23 performer, but this is a event for David Listen to Lima, as it's young at the Creole. Both of them are their debut. Get the Creole. Good track runner, 14:51. She ran a couple of years ago on the track. She's run 30:54 for a road 10K. That was in Tel Aviv in early 2023. Fourth at Prague Marathon, half marathon last year. So she knows the city, smallest in that chasing group. To get seen, that's a halfway split for the women. Tanui, who is in the lead. Still Cortex with the pacemaker doing a fabulous job.
Salve, salve pessoal, Fabrício aqui novamente. Isso é a Maratona da República Tcheca, capital Praga, né? Braga. Então, se possível aí, você se inscrever no canal, tá? Dar essa força pra gente, se inscrever no canal e deixar o seu like, a gente agradece, deixar o seu comentário, tá bom?
Now, it's the shame that's welcome to this elite group in the men's race. Nearly 25 kilometers done of the 42. They are putting up a fabulous competition and quick splits here in Prague. This 31st edition of the Volkswagen Prague Marathon unfolding as the 25k split for the men. 1:13:25, 73:25 at 25k. Unofficially, that is. So let's take a look. 25k, 1:13:25. Yeah, they are still at something like 2:04:20, something like that. They slowed maybe a tiny bit, a very small amount. Yeah, they're on something like 2:04:15 pace. I'm going to give them that for the 15k, the 25k split. Excuse me. So moving well. Now 25k done in the men's race. And they've taken that left-hand turn over one of the bridges now, the Alakeo bridge. They crossed it actually at 16k. Now they're crossing it again. You can see athletes going the opposite direction. Those athletes are at 16k. Quite good numbers at 16k too, going eastwards across the Vltava. When they get to the far end of the bridge now, this little men's lead pack, they take a left-hand turn. They'll pass 26k, and then there's a long straight run down towards a U-turn at 28k. Now is this breaking up a little bit? Is he beginning to struggle now? Verahanu, Segu. That's the pacemaker gone. I think he has. He's done a fabulous job through the 25k. I mean, congratulations to Gideon Rotic. What a sterling job he's done to get them to 25k, well inside course record schedule. Now it's down to the leading two men to try and hold this pace for these next few kilometres. Angela Tanui, well, she was looking pretty uncomfortable about half an hour ago. Winning 70:35 at halfway, that is confirmed. Didn't see who was second, third, fourth there, but dropping very quickly to the 6th and 7th places. But Angela Tanui here could be having her best run for quite a long time. Her personal best of 2:17 was set 4.5 years ago in October 2021 when she won Amsterdam, one of the big Northern European marathons. That chasing group there, are they closing on her? They look to be about 50 metres down. And it is tough for her. She's on her own, although she has got a pacemaker. She has got to try and hold that form through this third quarter of her race. 70:35, so not on schedule for course record in the women's race at the moment. It needs to be running a fabulously quick second half. Yes, Chalimo to the left of this little group, behind Patrick Weber. She looks relaxed, doesn't she? Listen to Chalimo, I mean, that stride, very, very languid. There is the camera. Heel striker, hardly any needed. But this Chalimo looks so relaxed there. Deep in concentration. He's fourth in the Rome Ostia race this year, the half marathon between Rome and the coastal town of Ostia. It's not a valid half marathon route because it's point to point. Yet she was fourth there back on the 1st of March in 71 minutes. Now here's Yamke. Now this is going to make it difficult for her. She's running her debut. She looks to have dropped away from that chasing pack. The 22-year-old Yamke Yalagal Kuryo, such an experienced track racer, half marathon racer as well. But it's going to be a lonely second half for her. hasn't raced, by the way, since April last year. So it's been a year since her last race. She wanted so desperately to get this one. She goes through it. Made at 26.5K. But this is going to be very, very tough for her. She dropped away from that chasing pack. Almost 20 kilometers to go on her own. Hardly a ripple on the Vltava river this morning. Absolutely beautiful. For the runners, for the tourists, for the spectators. It's a mixed blessing, isn't it? Lovely, warm, sunny weather for a marathon because the spectators come out in their hordes. Oh, listen, they do come out in their hordes. And yet it's not ideal for the runners. Last week in London was just about perfect. 17, 18 degrees, maybe a little bit warmer later in the day, but I mean for distance runners with not much wind, it was about as good as it can get. Here is Tanui, fabulously consistent. Here she is in her 19th marathon. She knows the distance. Of course, you have sort of little mental mantras you can repeat to yourself when you've been through this experience before when it gets tough. Was Yalomket, McCurry always sort of now. For her, it's new territory. It's a completely new experience. And you're sort of swimming around looking for ways to cope with it mentally as much as physically. A glance over her shoulder there from Angela Tanui. She has got the space lady to help her along. He is Kenyan and Bruto so she can communicate with him, but is this chasing pack closing down on her? There are two debutantes in that chasing group, and I think they might be. I think they might be very, very gradually closing up on Angela Tanui. And story to unfold in this third quarter of the race. She is super experienced, twice she's broken 220, which puts her absolutely in the elite. The super elite. Yep, that chasing pack is definitely closing. We're only about 5 or 6 seconds down on Angela Tanui. Obviously working hard. They're working really well. That the group of male national standard runners. And in that group, the debutant Melissa Lima, Invisalign Jet Kesha was there as well on her first race this year. But will the experience of Angela Tanui with this pacemaker Barnwell count for much if that group makes contact with her? She might be able to tuck it behind them. They are now moving along up past about 24 kilometres with the Visharad Castle there, top left of your screen, the battlements, the parkland behind there, race along the Vltava unfolds here. Let's get back to the elite men. Actually, them for a little while, whether or not that race is changing. Through the tunnel then, and they are closing with every stride, aren't they? Patrick Weber dragging them, chasing group back to Angela Tanui. We won't be thanking him for that, but he's doing a great job. We have got a race on our hands on the women's side, 24.5 kilometres done, 25K, just a couple of minutes away. Now there we are, contact regained. The chasing pack is up with Angela Tanui. And it includes Janet Ruguru Kichumbi rather, who was a 2:23 performer, did that in Beijing a couple of years back. three. Are there three women now in this pack if you include Angela Tanui? She just needs to hang in there with these others. Back to the men for the first time in a few minutes. And we've got a charge on here from Eustace Lima. Now this is just what it needs in the third quarter of the men's race. 28.5 kilometres on the clock. This would be the point of the race where it would be very tempting for them to ease back on the front and start watching each other, running a tactical race and looking for that big prize money. But Eustace Lima has kicked away hard here, and he's even gesturing to Berehanu Segu of Ethiopia to go with him. He's saying, come on, help me with this, we can do this. Maybe they're looking to destroy the athlete back in third place, Boas Kipkeme, because Berehanu here has accepted the gesture from Eustace Lima to go with him on this surge, try and hold this ball. Now they're coming up 28.5k, they're coming up towards 30k. That'll be the next significant indicator in the men's race. And Eustace Lima and Berehanu Segu, his leading pair, could both be heading here for new personal bests if they can hold it together. There's a long way to go. Coming up towards 30k, they've still got about 13 kilometres of hard running to come. Always a fascinating character is Lima. Made his marathon debut in 2023. In 2024, he made steady progress from Madrid and Lisbon with a 2:12 and 2:11 clocking. Last year, he had two marathons around 2:11 to begin with. Then his first subsequent 10 in fifth place in Seoul, and then that was in early November. Then, in February this year, smashed through a massive improvement. His ninth marathon run that 2:04.55 for fourth place in Seville. Sevilla. That's the Spanish pronouncer. 2:04 Seville. Huge improvement. 4 minutes, 18 seconds improvement. It's women's lead pack. Three athletes there. Now, where is Janet Tanui? I thought she's yes, there she is, just right centre of the screen. She hasn't been able to stay with the tempo of this chasing pack. It was definitely going faster than her over about 10 or 15 minute period. It closed probably 50 or 70 metres on it, but it's maintained its tempo, that little group. And Tanui, right of picture, hasn't been able to go with them. Wow. She has dropped back. She was working very, very hard half an hour ago to go with the then leader, Maria Maria. She has dropped right out of the scene. And Angela Tanui going to a bad patch and maybe struggling to stay in there. She's third place at the moment in the women's race as Eustace Lima continues to push on. Looks fabulous, hasn't looked under any strain throughout. Boas Kipkeme in the background, losing ground. He checks his watch in the background in third place. Berehanu hanging onto the coattails, it would seem, of Eustace Lima, who seems quite happy to pump out the lead pace himself at the moment. And indeed, I think he's trying to break Berehanu Segu at that point because we see to the right of the screen some of the mass participants jogging through, getting a little energy slack from the announcer in the Old Town Square. They are passing through the Old Town Square at about 12.5 kilometres. So the leaders in the men's race are way, way up there, approaching 30k. Women at 26k. If we get a 25k split from women, I'm not sure we did. It'd be nice to get that. So, Kipkeme Lima trying to break Berehanu Segu, but he's got to be careful here because he could break himself. 21. Berahanu won the Rusegu with a great headband. Every time, Justus Kipkoe Lima slides up smaller at least two, puts in a surge, he matches it and says, that's the best you've got. Quite intimidating in a way. Checking his watch. Looking pretty comfortable. Kipkoe Lima checks his watch as well. So they have just gone through 30k. I wonder if we can get that. So the women at 25k were 124 exactly. Let's just check what that actually represents. 25k, 124. Yeah, they've slipped back a little bit. Women, they're on about 221.30 pace. That's 25k. The men, with that much, about 30k for the men. So alongside the river then, just past 30k now, just looking on the map of where they are at this stage on the course, 25k there. They're heading north now with the river on their right, as you can see. They've gone under the Palaquejo Bridge. It'd be great to get that 30k split officially. And carry on running north now with the river on their right. Dead flat in this section. Lovely running. A little bit of shade here in places. That always helps. Be very, very welcome. Drink station now. I don't think it was an official drink station. Maybe it was. Yeah, I think that's a personal drink station. It's the 30k. Quite a long way after 30k. They've both got their drinks there. Always easier to grab your drink when there's just a couple of you instead of a pack of 10 or 15. So often in major marathons you see chaos at drink stations and there's a big pack and even falls. Sometimes see dash across and try and grab their bottle. Thinking on your feet. Sometimes it's good to accelerate to a drink station with a clean grab of your bottle. Better hard and take loads and loads of liquid there, far more than I used to Kipkoe Lima. That was interesting. 30k for the men, 128.16. 128.16 in this men's race in Prague at 30k. And that has them still down around there about 204.20 pace. They're still moving really well. And I'll tell you what, a lot of that credit goes to the man on the right. Justus Kipkoe Lima. He has done most of the aggressive running to get them through since the pacemaker dropped out at about 25k over the last 15 minutes or so. Limo has done the hard work, and now Berahanu of Ethiopia in the red headband. A couple of times, just got his nose in front and maybe been testing the Kenyan. What is good at these two, because they're racing each other, double benefit for them. They're working towards a very fast time unless disaster is coming in the next half hour. And they're dragging themselves further and further clear of third place. That was Boaz Kipkemai, I think, who they did away with about 10 minutes ago. But they're moving really nicely. Course record 2:05.09. Kipkoe Lima to the right there, ran faster than that just a few weeks ago in his 9th marathon. But he did one in Seoul in early November, he came 5th in 2:09. Then he raced in Seville in February. So this is basically his 3rd marathon in a little over 6 months. That is tough. Footwear technology enables athletes not only to run faster, but when they wear the shoes in training, they can recover faster. The shoes protect your legs from the pounding of training. You recover faster in training, means you can do more training, means you recover faster from races. In the old days, athletes always ran 2 marathons a year. It was pretty much written in stone, chiseled in stone, that you ran 2 marathons a year. You spent nearly a month recovering from the marathon. 30k for men, 1:28:60. Yep, that's the official time. And yet again, we get the second page where they show the 6th and 7th places, but we didn't see second, third, and fourth. Half a second is frustrating. Never mind, we know the leading pair. Justus Kitcon and Limo. Maratona de Praga. Conveniently, they wear numbers 1 and 2 somewhere, I think on their backs, but we don't see that. Maratona de Praga is only in his third marathon. He's going incredibly well. Last year in Dubai, January last year, he ran 2:05. This year, he came 7th in Dubai, he ran 2:07. Today, barring disaster in this next half hour, he's going to run a big personal best and maybe win here in Prague. But Justus Kitcon Limo on the far side, doing everything he can to test the Ethiopian. This is a classic East African clash. Ethiopia against Kenya. Much like we saw in London last week with Sebastian Sawe of Kenya, easing away from Yomi Kajalcha in the last couple of kilometers for Ethiopia. Jacob Lima, what a day it was from him in London. A national record for Uganda. Inside the old world record too. Kelvin Kiptum, remember the late Kelvin Kiptum lesson? Chicago 2023, 2:00:35. Well, in London last Sunday, a week ago this morning, a week ago right now, the first three broke Kiptum's old world record from 2.5 years before. So, 32 kilometers done in this men's race. They continue to head north. They've crossed the river again. They're now on the east bank of the Vltava, heading north. Not in the home straight yet, not psychologically or physically, but getting close to it. They'll take a left very shortly and head over the Manesh Bridge. And then it'll be heading northeastwards for them for the final time. Well, it's good to see both these men still look full of running. They're averaging 2:56 per kilometre. They needed 2:58. There's the third place, Abawas Kemai. What a run he has had this morning so far. If he can hold it together this next half hour, he's going to run a fantastic time. His personal best in 2:07. That was in Hanover 2 years ago this month. But he could, last month I should say, but in his 7th marathon, Boas Kipkema could run a big personal best here this morning. It's going to be tough for him. He's on his own. These two have got company. Always makes such a difference when you've got somebody beside you to race against. Onto the cobblestones now. Over the river yet again, very shortly. But they're both full of running. That's the good thing. Neither of them looks to be fortunate. If you get somebody out on their own in front, then there is the temptation for that person out in front, once the race is won, so to speak, to ease back on the throttle and just coast home. But these two, because they're racing and they both look full of running, they're running well. I think there's a really good chance of them holding this tempo through this last 10k and producing something very, very special this morning. Less than 10k to go in the men's race. Still just beautiful in the Czech capital Prague. Cobble sections galore on this course, but it's quick running, it's good quality cobbles. It's been pounded into flatness by the city traffic over the last century or so. There's the chasing group. 14 at the back of that group is Barcelius Kipiego. He's a 2:04 performer, the 30-year-old. That was in Paris, admittedly 5 years ago. And actually, this year he was only 25th in Barcelona back in the middle of March, so only about 6 weeks ago when he ran 2:16. Well, faster than that this morning. The personal best. These two could be heading for the personal bests. Neither of them looking like they're tiring. 33 kilometres there with 1:37:35. 1:37:35 at 33k. Unofficially. Don't take my word for it exactly, but very, very nearly. Let's have a look, 1:37:35. As someone checked, yeah, for about 2:04:30, give or take a few seconds, 2:04:30. They've slowed a few seconds in the last 3 kilometers, but not much. Now, listen to Limo. She seems to be on her own. Left of pictures, extreme left of picture. I think that is, yeah, I think so. Well, maybe that's his lunch and cash will go back out of picture. But this is Melissa Limo. Waited a long time for to make a marathon debut. I asked her at a meet and greet at the expo a couple of days ago. What was why she chose Prague when she could have chosen so many other cities. That was Janet Gijumbi. She's in second place now. Janet Gijumbi. She had 2:23 before. She's driven. She's working hard. 1 hour 38 on the clock. Got a long way to go. Almost like 30 kilometers. She's got well over 12 and a half kilometers to go. She's struggling. That might be good news for this debutante. She said, I've chosen Prague. I've had a good look at my agent, my coach, and all the options. I know Prague's a fast race. That's what I'm going to make my debut. She made a very firm decision. And, it's unfolding well for her at the moment, Melissa Limo. Now she is benefiting from Andrew Urbano. He's done a great job. He's helped in a nice, steady, pitter-patter running style of his. He's helped various leaders through the race. It was Relio Ademalia, who was the leader for a long time. Then it was Angela Tanovi. And now it's Melissa Limo. So this pair, working hard. I'll tell you what, Benehanu, who has kept company for Eustace Kipkore Limo for the last 30 or 40 minutes, just this pair, he looks to be working hard to me. Eustace Kipkore Limo, to write a picture, looks the more relaxed of the two to me, but the pace has slackened off a little bit. It's not so much aggression in the stride of Eustace Kipkore Limo. 34k, 140, 34k, 140, 35, we'll call it. Yeah, that's about 2:04:40 minutes. So they are slowing a little bit. They've slowed for the last 3 or 4 kilometers. The pair of them, I think, gathering themselves for a charge. The course record is still within reach. 2:05:09 is the course record. They're about 30 seconds inside that at the moment, with the Prague Castle peering down at them from behind. They need to really dig deep now. One of them needs to push on if they're to get that course record. Because they have slowed, there's no doubt about it. Over the last 10 minutes or so, they've lost about 10 or 15 seconds. One of the very few build-up slopes on the course. Nearly 35 kilometers. Going under one of the bridges there. Vltava on their right. And very shortly they'll pass the old 5k point that they passed an hour and a half ago. Pretty much heading eastwards now, hence the castle behind them. The world's biggest castle complex. It's a Gothic masterpiece, that castle. They call it the City of Spires. Can't you see why? You've got to come to Prague. You've never been to Prague. Jump in the plane and get there. It's so just. You can always like walk around the time. Can't see it. Great racing on the left, isolation on the right for Melissa Limo. She ran 5 half marathons last year. She was second in Rome. Not the Rome Ostia race, the Rome run for Kenya, never won a Kenyan best. He's very much an athlete who is a journeyman on the circuit, 29 years old now. Doing the right thing, as indeed is a pacemaker. Getting the drinks on board. Barnok with the red headband. Behind them for a little while, now up alongside her. And he's done just the right thing. He's been very aware of what the female athletes around him need throughout the race. He's done a really smart, experienced, pacemaking job. We were at almost 31 kilometres. If we get a 30k split for the women, that's what we're looking for next. We're at 31k now, so it's over 3 minutes to go. 30k split to be confirmed. Looking forward to the front start past some of the leading Czech men. The temperature, of course, climbing all the time now here in Prague. It is now 19 degrees, and over this next couple of hours it's going to shoot up towards much higher temperatures. 25, 26 later on this afternoon, 27 even at 3 o'clock. Not ideal. We need to get home safely, these runners. Shady sections, thankfully. It is on Paris Street, the Fashion Street. Along this morning, just a row of super designer fashion stores. Not quite high enough. Shopping break. These athletes have got to be taking in an awful lot of drink. The mass runners, they've got so far to go, and the temperature climbing, and pretty quickly over this next couple of hours too. 35k in the men's race, 1:43:47. 1:43:47 at 35k. And now they're almost exactly on tempo for the course record. They're a couple of seconds inside. They've got to work harder or they're going to lose that course record. They have slowed. There's no doubt about it. And these two running side by side is too much of a coincidence. One of them's feeling easier than the other. And whichever of them is feeling the easiest has got to kick on now if the course record is to come. But of course, winning has to be the priority. Daviti Kazavishvili of Georgia there. Having a good run. I don't have a name for 2:02. One of the leading Czechs, I think. Oh, from Austria. Excuse me. Austria is definitely. But Kazavishvili, 2:11 performer. Quite a long way behind its leading pair. Benehanu now hitting the front. Maybe for the first time there, little grimace on the face of Justus Kipkonen-Lima. Kipkemai in third, Shivarov in fourth, Kipkoech in fifth. So, yes, Boas Kipkemai in third, Shivarov up there as well. And Belai Shivarov. That 35k split, 1:43:47. They've got about 6k to go. 36k they've just gone past, as you can see in the background there. These two have got to push on this last 6k. They've definitely slowed. I'm fearing that the course record may be safe here this morning. Benehanu accelerates to get his drink. I think that was just a generic drink. I don't think it was just a glass of water. A cup of water he's got there. As he gets a little bit of a lead, they've got 64 seconds. The chasers, this pair. So they're pretty safe, well over a minute in the lead, and barring disaster. But Kipkonen-Lima is he now, for the first time, just beginning to struggle? Have we got a leader, or was it just that big station that created a bit of separation? 1 hour 48 minutes on the clock, and Justus Limo, I think, has hit the red line, and maybe that will give a bit of adrenaline surge to Berhanu Wandamusegu now, who is on his own and strides out more strongly than we've seen in the last 15 or 20 minutes, and this could be the critical moment in the race. In the men's race, we now have separation from this leading pair at 37 kilometers. That is the distance, 5k to go. And Kikona Limo, who has looked so magnificent for the last hour and 48 minutes, has had to ease back on the throttle. He has absolutely hit the red line for him. Berhanu Wandamusegu, who is a 2:05 performer, that was in Dubai last year, is striding on now, surely, to victory. He's a great half marathon racer. We know that. He's run under 60 minutes several times, but it's only his third marathon. Second in Dubai and seventh in Dubai over the last 2 years, Segu. Here is Limo. I did say to you earlier that this is his third marathon in around 6 months. Maybe he's coming to the world once too often, although it has been a fabulous run so far. He's put together 1 hour and 49 minutes of superb running, but that stride length has gone, the legs are going, and he's losing ground dramatically fast. With every stride, he's losing ground here on Berhanu. This may be a day where Ethiopia comes out on top of Kenya. 37.5 kilometers done. Berhanu now has the bit between his teeth, checks his clock, checks his watch. He was busted 4 years ago, between September 2019 and September 23. Served a 4-year ban for doping to Berhanu, but we can only hope he learnt his lesson. He's come back clean and he's racing here in Prague, what looks to be certain victory now. Back in the women's race, we have isolation for the debutant Melissa Lima with her pacemaker Barlow, but isolation from anybody else in the women's race. And it's been a funny women's race, a strange race. For a long time, it looked like we had a leading pair who were definitely going to battle out the win. Maria Halimaliam of Ethiopia and Angela Tanui of Kenya. But they have come and gone. They've had their moment in the spotlight. And ironically, it's the debutant Melissa Chalimo, who at 33 kilometers, still got 9 kilometers to go, but it looks like she, with no marathon experience before, so first ever 42K, it looks like she might have judged it the best. She said, I spoke to her a couple of days ago, I said, what have you changed in training from being a half marathon runner to accommodate the marathon? She said, all I've done is increase my long run. She said, my long run every week from 30K to 40K. Well, she's done that, and frankly, that is the most important factor to adjust. She seems to have adjusted well. That, by the way, in the background, that Prague Castle, it's what most people call the Mission Castle. It's a castle complex, and it is the biggest in the world. Built in the 9th century, the original structure.
Salve, salve, galera. Bom dia novamente. Isso é uma retransmissão da Maratona da República Tcheca, né? Capital Praga, tá? Então, se vocês puderem aí deixar o like de vocês, fortalecer o nosso canal, se inscrever lá no canal, a gente agradece de coração, tá? Lembrando que essa transmissão tá passando na ESPN, canal fechado lá. Eu só tô retransmitindo aqui. Fiquem à vontade de assistir e deixar o seu like, deixar o seu comentário, se inscrever no canal. Valeu, obrigado.
Is still under threat. We're looking for the next significant marker. In the men's race, which would be 40k, it's 38.5k they're at the moment. That's Belahanu Segu. But runners, spectators everywhere, sprinkled around the city. Warm, glorious spring Sunday morning. It's what, the 3rd of May 2026. And it is unseasonably warm. It's getting warmer. Belahanu then knows he's got the race in the bag. If he can just manage these last 3.5 kilometres. He's striding out strongly still. I'm sure he'll be getting information from the lead bike. Yana, the lead bike, the coordinator of the elite athletes. She will be yelling at him to keep going. Yana Mobley, the elite athlete manager, will be screaming at him, giving him information about his splits, how close he is to course record. And he's moving well here, isn't he? Striding out more strongly than we've seen it for a long time. There is Yana Mobley, the passenger on that motorbike. She would desperately love to see this course record go, and maybe see the 2:05 barrier go here in Prague. Well, oblivious to the mood music, these elite athletes, we have isolation in both races. Millicent Jalimo to write a picture on her own as regards the rest of the women's field. Pacemaker helping her, and Ruki Bruto Barlow has done a fabulous job tiptoeing along out in front of her. No sign of any athlete, or is that about 150 metres back? I think another athlete about 150 metres back might be Janet Gitrubi in second place. Doing enough to stay ahead is Millicent Jalimo. This man has done more than enough to stay ahead. Oblivious to the music, the 29 music stations on the course. He is ploughing along so nicely now. 1 hour 55 on the clock. Less than 10 minutes to go, hopefully. Segu looking really strong now in the latter stages. His personal best 2:05.14. Funnily enough, it's almost identical course record. He has got great 10,000 meter form on the track, but this is only his 3rd marathon. Having said that, this is a new situation for him. Heading, we suspect, towards victory. He hopes towards victory. Isolation in the latter stages of a massive marathon. And still moving really well. He's certainly picked up his pace. He and his long-time competitor, Justus Kipkoria-Limo, who's dropped back. There he is in the background. Limo, you can see him way back down the road, probably 250 metres behind. The colleagues for a long time, they've worked hard together to get well away from the rest of the field. But this is Berahano Wondermui Segu moving so well in the latter stages of the race. Just waiting for the distance marker to change on the top of the screen. Recovery of the women at 34.8 kilometers, so they're at almost 35k. Berahano, yeah, heading back on the home run now. Both survival mode. Get the impression that maybe Melissa Jalimo more survival mode. Her eyes focused on the road in front of her. Gets to watch. She has a pacemaker for the company, unlike Belehanu. It'll be tougher for him because of that. On the other hand, this is new territory for her, making a debut. And a winning debut. What a special debut it will be if she can hold it together. I'd like to see her 35k split. See her. I'm not sure we've got the 30k split either. Women's race. But it is a race first and foremost. As the temperature continues to climb in Prague, it's showing 19 degrees. Certainly feels a little bit warmer. By the finish line, well, it's 10 o'clock local time. By 11 o'clock, they're saying it's going to be 22. So the temperature is going to climb pretty rapidly in the next couple of hours. It's going up to 27 later on in the day. There you are. The crowd becomes its own crowd. The runners become their own crowd. Supporting each other. Passing the cups there on the ground. Ring station. They normally get swept up and out of the way. Quite slippery underfoot. Running through a sea of cups like that on the ground. But better harder there. I think was at the 40k ring station. He's on a charge now. Checks his watch yet again. He's passing the athlete's hotel any second, if he hasn't done already. Yeah, on his left. The red was just to the left of Victor behind the trees. He will be passing the athlete's hotel any second. The Prague Hilton Atrium, which has been a fantastic hotel for the athletes for many, many years at these big Prague races, the half marathon and the marathon. There is the Vishala medieval castle. The athletes are passing in both directions. Athletes have different time schedules. Well, the ratio between foreign runners and Czechs this year is 54 to 46. So over half the field are foreign runners. That's calculated by the president of Russia, Carlos. And amongst those foreign runners, of course, are the elite. Ethiopians, Kenyans, and Ugandans. Jellibo striding on at 35.5 kilometres. It'd be nice to see the leader of the men's race now because he is virtually in the home straight. Don't know what's going on there. What sort of time is he on? We haven't seen a 40k split for him. A 40k split for the men would be nice. Well, I don't think she's under threat now. Listen, Jellibo, she's done everything right. Back to the leader in the men's race. Over 2 hours on the clock. Now, what is he heading for? They were slowing. The last split we got 35k, put them pretty much smack on schedule to hit the course record of 2:05.09. But they were slowing, and I don't know if he's accelerated enough to get back on schedule to break the course record. It's going to be mighty tight. It really is. He's heading back now towards Old Town Square. He's still got the river on his right. He's got a few hundred meters to go yet before he can turn left onto Paris Street. The running is going to be absolutely critical. Last week in London, Sebastian Salway ran the fastest ever closing strip from 40k to the finish line. I think it was under 6 minutes. Well, Berahano here has got a little over a kilometre to run. And that should take him about 3 minutes. But how much over a kilometre has he got to do? Can he break 2:05? Can he break the course record 2:05.09? Can he, in fact, set a personal best? It's 2:05.14, so there's 3 targets for him. 2:05 would be a lovely barrier to punch through. 2:05.09, the course record would be great. A personal best 2:05.14. But what does seem to be in the bag, and by far the most important, as he passes the 41k points at 2:02.10, we should say, is that he's got the win in the bag. It's been a fabulous race from him. Well, it's going to be mighty close, but I think he's probably going to be finishing just outside the course record by a few seconds, not by much. He's got to turn left onto Paris Street, where there is shade, admittedly, but he's running on mighty tired legs here. He's on the right, they're trying to hold his speed to just a few meters to Vino from Berehanu, Wandiru Segu. Give the 26-year-old his full name. He has had a battle royal through the second half of the race with Justus Kikore Limo. He's done away with that challenge. 2:03 and bits on the clock. I don't think he's going to set a course record here, but it would have been a quite fabulous run. The temperature now in central Prague is about 20 degrees centigrade. It's a little above what would be ideal. And maybe they went out a little too hard. Remember, that's a halfway split. It was a 61-44. It was perhaps just a little optimistic. It might have been better going out maybe a minute quicker, a minute slower than that, saving a little bit more for the second half. But they felt so good, and the running condition, the temperature was perfect. They gave it a really good go. And on another day when the temperature weren't climbing quite like this, maybe the course record was on the card. He takes that final left-hand turn. Now he's back onto the famous Parigi Street, where the luxury stores that he was able to afford the products of. Prize money from this, but will be displayed in their windows. Checks his watch again. You will see that the course record is no longer viable, but a big win here in Prague will be for this man. Only 26. He had survived a very testing third quarter, testing second half of this race. Going up probably a little too quick for the first time. 61-44, well under 2:04 tempo. But they have handled it magnificently. He and Justus Kikore was back in second place. And now the reward for him in particular is going to be victory. Some people say first is first and second is nowhere. Most people would disagree with that. Jovic Kujelcha, second in London last week, well inside 2 hours, well inside the old world record, but beaten by Sebastian Salve. Said, in his opinion, marathons are a lot easier than half marathons. I'm not sure that this man Berehanu would say he would agree with that now. He comes towards the closing meters. It's been a magnificent run from him. He's destroyed some of the best runners in the world today. This 31st edition of the Volkswagen Prague Marathon. He salutes the crowd. He salutes the finish line. Smashes through the tape there. 2:05.51 unofficially. Wow. What a run. What a run. The course record just easing away from him over the last few kilometres. But he's done more than enough to record by far the biggest win of his career. Only his third ever marathon. Second in Dubai last year. Seventh in Dubai this year. It's a big win for him there. Look at this. This is the second place. So what's happened to Justus Limo? Kikore Limo. Well, this is Felix Kikore. Is he coming through for second place? He's some way down. He's only just turned left onto Paris Street. And there's aggressive chasing going on behind Felix Kikore. His personal best tour is 7:19. It's going to be just outside that. He was second here last year in his personal best of 2:07.19. And he might well be second here again today. Although I think that's Andualam Belai Shifaro closing on it. We have a race here. A tough race over the final few hundred meters for second and third places. Shifaro chasing hard. He's got a target in his sight. I wonder if Felix Kikore knows it. Maybe he's got enough of a gap behind him. But there in fourth place, top of picture look, it's Justus Kikore Limo. He is in survival mode. At best, he's going to finish in fourth. He's a glance over his shoulder. He is desperately trying to close these last few hundred meters. How he has been crushed by the latter stage of this race. And this is
Vocês estão vendo a chegada do campeão aí, ó.
second this year.
Chegada do campeão da prova. 2:07, gente. Campeão.
Fabulous running from him. And Dualan takes third place. And his time in third place, he comes through the tape, 2:07.
Segundo colocado. 2:08.
Brilliant running from him. He has run a 2:04. That was 3 years ago in Berlin. And Justus Kikore Limo,
Mais um com 2 horas e 8, o terceiro, né? O quarto chegando aí, ó. 2 horas e 8 também. Os caras correram muito, não tem passo, né? Tempo bom, 2 horas e 8 da maratona. Deixa aí nos comentários o que vocês acharam aí da prova, o que você achou da transmissão. Não esqueça de deixar o seu like e, o importante, se inscrever no canal para fortalecer o nosso canal. Transmissão de maratona é aqui no canal Corre Fabrício.
Directly 10, but both the running tracks there are being repaired. They're out of action. Wrecks on the roads back home, but he's married to Ryan and 2 kids back home. We'll be watching this. He crosses the line at 2:10:31 for 7th place. Unofficially, ahead by 8. Across the tape. That's been a tough journey for Boas Kemai. I think he's finished in 8th place there. It's about 2:10:40.
Very happy you are the winner. So what are your feelings, emotions?
Prague is my first time today, and I'm very happy. Very happy.
What happened? 5 kilometer or 37 kilometers where he decided about this victory. What happened? How did he do the situation?
I was in injury, so I was thinking to win. I was ready to win, but I was injured. I was worried a little bit, but I was preparing. I was good for the marathon. I was prepared good. But he was in injury, so he was a little bit worried.
And how difficult was the race because of the weather?
The weather is very similar back home at the moment, so it was not very difficult.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Well, there is the winning form in Pela. Who won the take of the champion here today in the 31st Volkswagen Prague Marathon. His unofficial winning time 2:05:51. We'll wait for that to be confirmed or adjusted for the next few minutes. But what a big win for him. Only his third ever marathon. And he survived a recklessly quick first half, 61:44 to come home to take the title. Women's race, though, is still unfolding, and here we have a story as well. 29 years old, Melissa Limo is in the lead. She's never run a marathon before today, but she could be heading to victory. 2 hours 13 on the clock, probably about 10 minutes of running to come. But a long time coming, this marathon debut. She's an established half marathon runner. She ran 5 last year. is in unknown territory. It's a little bit tough for her, especially so many kilometers without any competitors. She has, though, thankfully, the company of a pacemaker, her compatriot from Kenya, Vltava. What a good job he's done. And he's just kept plugging away with different companions throughout the race. It's been an unusual race. In that for the first half of the race, we had Maria de Maria of Ethiopia and Angela Temis from the Tanui of Kenya running along side by side, and it looked like they were definitely going to be 1 and 2. They looked so strong through the halfway, but they passed 70-35. And then they both fell apart, both of them at different times, having really bad patches and dropping back. And an athlete who went out less aggressively but more steadily, perhaps a little bit more cautious, and this is Limo here, seems to be the athlete that has judged it right today. And that is so ironic when she's never run a marathon before. You expect the experienced 42K runners to go out and get it right. All she's done this year so far, back in the first part, was a 71-minute fourth place in the road marathon. That was way outside 2:20 tempo that way. That was the road Austria race. She finished in fourth place. It was running 68 minutes, knocked it over 3 minutes from Vivo from Kenya. So it's a solid run, but if you're in marathon preparation, you don't expect your half marathon a few weeks before to be that brilliant. It shouldn't be that brilliant because you're meant to be tired from preparation for the marathon. It's just an indicator of how well you're going. She ran that race on the 1st of March. And last year, she also ran a 15K road race in Vltava at altitude back home in Kenya. 5 half marathons, the best of which was a 68-minute personal best, which was second in the road half marathon, set different race to the road Austria race that was in October. Check here, this is Jan Lena, the 2:18 performer, and he could be pretty close to his personal best here. Bouncing along, he's got a long, slow stride, hasn't he? He's moving well. His personal best is 2:18.15. For almost 2 minutes in which to get to the finish line. If he's going to make it, I think he probably will. It's not Paris Street, it's not that long, it's about 600 meters long. It's bouncing down towards the line now. This may be the Czech title he's going to take a Jan Havlena. Daviti Kazalishvili of Georgia. He's looking good too. He's on the home straight, so to speak, finding it tough. Little glance over the shoulder there, Jan Havlena, the 25-year-old. Hasn't raced this year, it's his first race of the year. Last year, he came 13th in Prague, 2:21. He ran in Berlin, he ran 2:33, he ran in Valencia, ran that fast progress of 2:18. He crossed the line there to take the Czech title and a new personal best, 2:17.48 unofficially. Brilliant run from him. You can see why he's so happy. He is Czech champion in 2026, unofficially 2:17.48, and a new personal best, Jan Havlena. Wow. Personal best in Valencia back on the 7th of December, and he proves it here today. Oh, nearly 30 seconds. Warm morning here in Prague. Just to confirm where the temperature's going right now, 22 degrees. It's climbing quickly. 20 minutes ago, it was about 19. Sun is up, and it's very, very warm and getting warmer. You have to line about 2:18:44. And an Austrian competitor here wearing 2:02. Well, this gentleman, amongst the elite, if he was, he'd have a name on his front bit. He crossed the line there. 1912 officially. Now, is the Austrian sponsored by Austria? Might be the second placer in the Czech race. My apologies for not being able to identify. Jonathan Herrera, I think this is, of the Ivory Coast. He's a 2:19 performer. He's just outside his lifetime best. He ran 2:19:21 back in Valencia 2023. And he just missed the 2:20 barrier on this occasion, although the temperature over this last half hour would have been punishing. 2:20:10 as he crossed the line there for Herrera. Good solid run for the man from the Ivory Coast. Well, good standard national club runners from Czechia coming through. Vltava has found it tough these last few kilometres. He's coming home, I think. Vltava. That might be second place in the Czech Championships, I think. Well, he's 41 years old now. He's a 2:15 marathon runner at his best. Best years behind him. He crossed the line there for 2:21 and bits. Solid run from him on a warm morning. About 2:21:20 for him. His first race of 2026. Last year, 2:21 when he was 14th in Prague. A very similar performance here today from him. Totally spent. And too bad. That's the picture. One of the athletes out there for 180. What a fabulous job of putting this thing together and managing the athletes over the last 2 or 3 days in the hotel. Getting them right for this race this morning. A wonderful result too in the men's race. So many athletes under 2:10. What's happening in that women's race? 2:22 on the clock. It'd be great to see the leader in the women's race because she can't be far away now. Surely. Listen, Chalima, where is she? We're in this men's race. No, it's not David, is it? David. He's already been through. I'm not sure who this athlete is. Apologies for that. He's not on my elite start list. David Bush, I think it is. Excuse me. Yes, he is. David Bush. He's a 2:23 performer. And he is running a personal best in David Bush. 2:23:05 is personal best. Cross the line there. Unofficially, 2:23:02 runs a personal best. Can you believe? Of about 2 seconds, he runs a personal best. And here we go, back to the women's leader. And the women's race has been a very unusual one. The lead has changed again and again. But for the last few kilometres, it has been this woman, a debutante, 29 years old. She's left it late. So many years knocking out great performances at the half marathon. But she's left it late to move to the marathon, and she does it in spectacular style today. This has been quite fantastic from her. 5 half marathons last year. She didn't have any wins. She had a couple of second places and a third place. And in 2024, she was quite magnificent. She had 6 half marathons. But again, a couple of 70-minute runs, a 71-minute run. But she has managed these last few kilometers with the experience of an old hand. She grimaces here as she comes toward the line. She's going to be just outside 2:24. The women's course record, never under threat today. She crossed the line 2:24.20 unofficially. That is a spectacular debut, and more importantly, a winning debut from Melissa Jaleba. Quite fantastic. Very modest track personal bests, but a well-established, consistent half-marathon racer. A personal best for the half-marathon, 68.37. Surely that is due for an improvement now. Big prize money for Melissa Jalima. And second place, Janet Riguru Gichumbi. She will be the second placer here. As she closes these last few 100 meters. She is a 2:23 performer, but it's a warm morning here in Prague. And she's in survival mode. I think last year she was 6th in Paris in 2:24, 3rd in Ljubljana in 2:27. This year, 8th in Houston, but she had a tough day in Houston actually. On the 11th of January, only 2:33 there. Well, she's found better form here this morning. It's not a personal best. That personal best, by the way, 2:23 second, goes back to a second place in Beijing in October 2023. But she is going to finish in second place. I think Janet Gichumbi this morning. That gives good prize money for her. Nervous little glance over her shoulder there as she survives these last few meters. It's her 11th marathon. So she is experienced. 7 times she's broken 2:30. This will be the 8th time. She's never won a marathon. She's come close today. Angela Jamasunde Tanui, is she in 3rd place? She's had a strange old race. It's been a tough old race. She was in the lead for a while along with Maria Adamalia. Then she dropped back to 2nd. Then she retook the lead. Now she's dropped back to, I think, 3rd place. As Janet Gichumbi comes home for 2nd place. She's got a fine half marathon PB of 67 minutes from Copenhagen 22. Today, 2nd place for her, 2:26.41. Her time as runner-up, unofficially. This is, of course, just over 2 minutes behind the winner, Melissa Jalima. And here is Angela Jemasunde Tanui. Delightful young lady, spoke well at the meet and greet at the Expo a couple of days ago. 2:17 her personal best. She's going to be some 10 minutes outside that here today. What has been a difficult race for her. But she's battled on and looks like she's heading to 3rd place here. A lifetime best came with a win in Amsterdam 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago, 2:17.57. Well, you can only give 100% on the day. She's done exactly that. Comes through the square, Old Town Square, greeted by the throng, the VIPs on the left, onto the blue carpet, and Jemasunde Tanui comes through for 3rd place, 2:27.45 unofficially. She will be disappointed with that, but she makes the roster. The winner, though, Melissa Jalima, debutante, 2:24.20 unofficially. 2nd place, Janet Gichumbi, 2:26.41. And Angela Jemasunde Tanui of Kenya. The 33-year-old takes 3rd place. It's a 1-2-3 for Kenya this morning on the streets of Prague. Well, 4:15 is from the mass field. Yeah, what a run she's had. Under 2:30, about 2:28.22. Quite a run, frankly, for a mass runner. We can go to the presentations now of the men's race. taking third place. I got his time unofficially at 2:07:58. Second place. And what a second place it was by Felix Kipkovic, 2:07:45. Unofficially. He was second last year, second this year, the 28-year-old. But the winner, the champion on this occasion, and what a spectacular run it was, Berhanu Wandemu Savior, the 26-year-old Ethiopian. Couldn't get the course record. We knew it would be close. His time unofficially 2:05:51. For so long, he and Justus Kipkorir-Limo pummeled away at the early kilometers through halfway in an extravagantly fast time, 61:44 at halfway. They couldn't hold that tempo, sub 2:04 tempo, and ended up winning here today. About 40 seconds or so outside the course record, which was under threat. Maybe the climbing temperatures through the last few kilometers accounted for the slowing. But it's the winning that matters. He gets his medal there. In only his third ever marathon. Second in Dubai last year, seventh in Dubai this year. A winner in Prague in 2026. An isolated winner too. Pretty comfortably now. That 2:05:51 performance. And there he gets that wonderful trophy, the crystal glass trophy made by the Ageto Glassworks. Made the trophies for the Tour de France, can you believe? Very, very special trophies indeed, not the normal cup, metal cup. There we are, confirmation of the times of the first three. Was indeed 2:05:51 for Berhanu. The Ethiopian national anthem now. Well, he hasn't heard that played before in his name, but he has now. The Ethiopian national anthem, quite magnificent tune. We've heard it a few times over the years, thanks to Haile Selassie, Kennedy Zepekele, and the Vltava sisters. But now, because of the F200 coming out, big smiles here. Is this the Czech champion in the women's race? Apologies, I don't have a name for this athlete. Wow, what a run from her. And I get that time unofficially, something like 2:32:20. That is one of the quickest times. The event record for a Czech, 2:30:10 by Eva Vltava. That was back in 2016. So that is right up there, one of the quickest ever times by a Czech athlete in the women's race in Prague. Now, here is Visline Kesha. I don't think she's in fourth place. She's struggling to keep those legs coming through, isn't she? So first race this year. Last year she ran 3 marathons. She was second in Ottawa, fourth in Mexico City, fifth in Taipei. Made a debut back in 2017 with a fifth place in Vienna. That was at 2:26. And she's been incredibly consistent over the years. 6 times she's gone under 2:22. Well, today, F200, that was from marathon team Berlin and Anna Langewisch, apparently. apparently, I'm being told. So it seems that it's one of the runners she was happy with, pretty special. I wondered why she couldn't take a break. But Invisalign, Jeff Kesho here. Uses half marathons as preparation for marathon, nothing more. She doesn't really care about the results of them. She's super consistent at the marathon distance. She's 11 times she's broken 2:26, 6 times she's broken 2:22. But a bad day at the office for her here today. Her personal best is 2:21. That's from Paris a few years back, quite a few years back. But here today, well, she's going to have to settle for something in the 2:34 range. Is Jeff Kesho, this 36-year-old, still well in the prize money, and we can go to the presentation ceremony for the elite women now. Angela Chemasunde Tanoi, well, she only finished a few minutes ago. I got her unofficial official third place time at 2:27.45. Still a solid run, but she has run some 10 minutes quicker than that, Tanoi, but she survived the last kilometers in second place. Running 2:26.41, about 3 minutes outside her lifetime best. Janet Ruguru Gijumbi, time 2:26.41 unofficially. And the champion, a debutant, a 29-year-old Kenyan, who was a 1-2-3 in the women's race for Kenya, Melissa Jalimo. What a special run it was from her. She's an established half marathon runner, although not super fast. 68.37 from her is very, very strong half marathon running. She's run that sort of time many times, close to 70 minutes, just outside 70 minutes. But today, to win here in Prague, a major city title in 2:24.20 unofficially, that is special. And she gets a prize from the mayor of Prague, Bohuslav Svoboda, who has done such a great job of making sure this city welcomes the runners, welcomes the domestic runners to promoting health and movement, the community in the Czechia, in the city of Prague. I'm going to those actually I took last month's carefully, heavy, delicate, special. They get back to Kenya in one piece. That is a 1-2-3 for Kenya. And if you've not heard it before, and if you haven't, welcome back to Planet Earth. Here comes the Kenyan national anthem. Just for Melissa Jalimo. First time she's heard it before, certainly for winning a marathon. All smiles now. During the race, she was deep in concentration. Her eyes were down on the road. There was very little emotion being shown. But she is the champion here today. Melissa Jalimo, 2:24.19 officially her winning time. Pain and pleasure etched across her features there. Still find it hard to believe that Yomif Gajamcha last week after London said the marathon is easier than the half marathon. I think there's a few thousand people here today who would beg to differ. They come pouring across the line on the clock still at the moment at the time of 2:38. It's a great running from these athletes. This is national standard running, knocking on the door of international standard running. muscle lad who's been in the gym a bit, coming through. Great running from him. Wow. But anything under 3 hours is special for the marathon. I think anything like finishing on a day like this is special for all these thousands in the city of Prague. Let's hope they all get around safely. It's very, very warm. It's 22 degrees here in Prague at the moment and climbing. Unbroken sunshine. And there is the Greek competitor. Here's a 27-year-old of Greece. She's a 2:38 performer. She's only just outside her personal best. This year, she was third in the Athens Marathon in her personal best of 75 minutes. So 7th marathon though, full experience, knows how to handle the marathon distance. And these conditions, I suspect, coming from Greece, they get a bit of warm weather down there, don't they? Favorite countries for vacation. She ran that 2:38 in Copenhagen last year. She's going to be just outside that today. 2:40 has just clicked by the way. The clock on the screen now. So, Martia Naula, the 27-year-old Greek, moving through nice and steadily. Looks like she's judged this one to perfection to me. Fourth in the Greek cross-country championships back on the 1st of February. So supporting domestic athletics. Michaela Borchnikova of Czechia coming through, wearing F15. She's a 2:50 performer. Now she is going to smash her personal best. What a run it's been from her. Last year, she ran in Malaga 2:50.13. She is going to break that by something like 7 or 8 minutes. That is a special run on a warm day. Not ideal for marathon running. Whenever an athlete of this caliber produces on a day like this, you can be sure they can go several minutes quicker because it is warm. These last few kilometers for her must have been tough. She's able to raise her game here, working hard with her arms, deep in concentration, but performing so well. This is going to be a time of around 2:42 for her and a lifetime best 2:50. She's going to run an 8-minute personal best. And she must know it, surely. Looks like she's going to break into tears because this has been magnificent from her. It's all about improving by your own standards. And look at this. Michaela Borchnikova. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Onto the blue carpet, pushing towards the line, and she's loving it. Taking it all in. Cross the line at 2:42.28 unofficially. That is a personal best by very nearly 8 minutes. She cannot believe it. You see athletes smiling and crying and in agony at the end of the races. You don't see them laughing, lying on the ground very often. She probably cannot believe what she's done today. Massive improvement. Eva Vltava, I think this is over Czechia. Eva Vltava then. She too has had a good run. Her lifetime best 2:43.26. It's going by now. So she's going to be just a few seconds outside her lifetime best. That was here in Prague last year. It was a warm day last year, and it's a warm day this year. It's certainly worth something slightly quicker than that. Comes up onto the blue carpet. Glorious last 30 initially went out too fast. 61:44 was the halfway time of the bench race. It was just Lima, Lima, when I was saying going out together, surviving the second half, but slowing, winning time for what I was saying, 2:05:51, and just Lima, after so much of the leading in the race, had to settle eventually for fourth place in consolation. 2:08:33, still a pretty solid run. You're a second placer in the men's race. Behind that great win from Seibu. What a run it was from him, by the way, surviving these temperatures. Second place, speeding Kim Koech. 2:07:45. And Bella Shin from Ethiopia. Ethiopia got first and third at 2:07:59. Those are the top three in the men's race. Just to reiterate, before I leave you with these shots of the runners slightly further back down the field, the women's race won by debutant, the longest through international 29-year-old Melissa Galimo, winning at 2:24:19. It was a 1-2-3 for Kenya with a compatriot Janet Ruguru Gicumbi in second place, 2:26:41 behind her. Third place, the one-time leader, Angela Pimmons from the Tandui, 2:27:45, just making one each other wrong. It has been a special day here in Prague. Record numbers of entrants, almost 12,000 in the marathon, 11,800. 15,000 entrants in the different races across the weekend, organised so wonderfully by the Run Check team. Well, from me, Tim Hutchings, and the production team here in Prague, the Czech capital, beckons, of course, with the original orders, nothing more, obviously, as the temperatures continue to climb here in Prague. It's only 10 to 11, it's already 23 degrees centigrade, it's going up to 27 later on. A special moment for many athletes. We saw Laura Matulova there crossing the line, enjoying her day on the streets of the city. From all of us here, bye-bye.
Essa aí foi a transmissão da Maratona da República Tcheca, né? Em Praga. Obrigado por vocês que assistiram, né? Não esqueça de deixar o seu like, deixar o seu comentário, se inscrever no canal, pessoal. Vamos lá.